Last set for today. Last thing we're going to do today.
Let's do this.
Yay. Is we are on chapter 3.9. Okay? This is something that is not in your book. Okay? This is something that is not in your book, so you will have a worksheet on it. But it is still part of your exam because it's something that you need to know how to do. Okay? So this one is going to be solve systems of equations. Okay, my turn. Solve systems of equations. And what we're going to do this time is by elimination method. Solve systems of equations by something called the elimination method. Okay, the elimination method.
Okay, I messed up.
Okay, so I'm going to show you, right now I'm going to show you how you could solve the same. Hello.
Be quiet, please.
Listen. Okay, I'm going to show you how
Pay
you,
attention, because I suck at this.
listen guys. So for example number 1, I'm going to ask you to solve by all 3 methods. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to solve the same equation using 3 different methods. Okay, and your equation is going to be y equals x and y equals 5x. Guys, listen up. Okay, so if I ask you to solve this system of equations by all 3 methods, okay, the first method we learned was graphing. So if I asked you to graph and I gave you these 2 equations, okay, remember, you always want to use 2 different colors, so for yours, you're just going to have to do your best, okay? Listen up. Okay, so for y equals x, I'm going to use 2 different colors. If you don't have colors, it's not a big deal. You'll be able to see this right now. Okay, for y equals x, what is the y-intercept at y equals x? Guys, hey, listen. Remember, lines are written in y equals mx plus b form. Okay, y equals mx plus b. Which letter represents the y-intercept? The b, okay? B is your beginning. That's where you make your first point.
She's gonna stab you, and she won't care. She goes in.
Quiet.
Remember, if you do not have a y-intercept, you can add a 0 at any point. So, for this first one, where would I make my first point? At 0. You always make your beginning point at the y-intercept, so it crosses at 0. No, not right now. We're in the middle of notes. You're supposed to be writing these down. Hey, guys! Knock it off. Sit down and pay attention. Enough. Y-intercept is where you make your first point. So, for the orange line, we're going to start at 0. Make your first point at 0. What is the slope of y equals x? 1. So that tells you you move how? Up 1 over 1. And we always move to the right. So up 1 over 1. Okay? Draw as straight of a line as possible. Okay? So I'm going to show you why graphing is not always the best answer. Or the best way to do this. Excuse me, the best method. How about for the purple line? Where should I make my first point? At 0, 0. How do I move to get to my next point? What's the slope of y equals 5x? up 5 over 1. So up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. Up 5 over 1. Okay? Draw your line straight as you can. Where would you see that these two lines cross? Where is there? At 0, 0. Okay? This one was kind of easy to figure out where these cross. So by graphing, we decided that these intersect at 0, 0. Okay, now, for 0, 0, it's generally kind of easy to see where they cross. But sometimes it's not going to be quite that easy. So what's the second method we learned after graphing? What's the one we just did? Substitution. For substitution, if I had y equals x and y equals 5x, how could I solve that with substitution? You could substitute one for the other one. So I could substitute the 5x for this y. Okay, if you redid that, you would get 5x equals x. How would you solve 5x equals x? What would you have to do? With substitution, we always have to have numbers and letters on the opposite side. So how would you move this x? Subtract the x. If you subtract the x, what's 5x minus 1x? 4x equals what? 0. Okay, everything went away. Now, how do you get x by itself? Divide by 4. What's anything, 0 over anything? 0. How could you plug in to find the other part? Which one would you plug into? Y equals x or y equals 5x? Doesn't matter. Okay? If you plug into this top one, we would get y equals an x of 0. So here, what would you get for a solution?
Y equals 0.
Y equals 0. So remember, our solution is where they cross. So even if you didn't have this graph, our solution is a point. We have to have a x part and a y part. So this would be at 0, 0. We get the same answer. Doesn't matter which way we do it. Okay? There is one more way that you can solve. Okay? The last way that you can solve is something called elimination. Okay? Elimination. So again, I'm going to show you the exact same equation, but using something called the elimination method. Oops, sorry, you can't even see it. The elimination method is where we want to add the two things together and get something to eliminate. Okay, what would it mean to eliminate something? Not quite take it off, but cancel it out. Okay? The elimination method is something sometimes also called the addition method. Because the goal is to add something together and get it to cancel out. So if I added these two equations together, like I just put a plus sign in between them, would anything cancel out?
Yes, no.
If I added these together, what would happen? You'd get 2y and equals 6x. That's not really helpful. What do you think I have to do to get something to cancel out here? If I have one positive y, what does the other one need to be? Negative y. How do you think I can make this a negative y? What would I have to do? Subtract it is what we want to do, but first I need to do what? How do I make this a negative? Would you add something? Would you multiply by something? Would you subtract something? Close. What you would have to do is you would have to multiply by negative 1. So multiply everything there by negative 1. If you multiply everything in that equation by negative 1, you would get negative y equals negative x. Then, if you add these two together, what's y minus y? What's y minus y? 0 equals, what's 5x minus 1x?
4x.
4x. Then, how would you solve for x? What would you have to do? Divide by 4. What's 0 over 4? 0 equals x. So that gives you one of your variables, one of the letters. How do you find the other letter? Plug it back in, yes. So plug it back into any of the equations. I would choose the top one. Plug it back in. So y equals x, we're plugging in 0 for x. So y would equal 0. How would you answer this question? What is the solution to this equation? Remember, what did I say it has to be written as? As a what? A point. So how would you write x equals 0, y equals 0 as a point? 0, 0. So you could get the exact same answer 3 different ways. So that's why there's 3 different ways to get answers on your test. Okay? You could graph. If you have a grid, graphing is a good idea. If you don't have a grid, you probably don't want to do that. Okay? Then depending upon the situation, sometimes it's better to use substitution method. Sometimes it's better to use elimination method. So I'm going to show you the difference, kind of. Okay, so substitution method you want to use if you have one letter all by itself, because it's the easiest. Elimination method, you're going to see more of them that are kind of like this. So for example number 2, okay, again, I'm asking you to solve. How about if I asked you to solve, sorry, I just lost my place. Let's try y equals, oops, sorry. Give me a sec. Sorry, I didn't mean to write that one. Hold on, hold on. Listen, guys. Okay, if I ask you to solve the system, listen. Solve the system. X minus y equals 3, and 3x plus y equals 1. X minus y equals 3, and 3x plus y equals 1. If I ask you to solve that system, does this look like something we would want to graph? Not really. Okay, why? How come you wouldn't want to graph that? Because you don't have a grid and it looks like it's complicated, right? Drew, out. Go. I'm tired of you talking. Go.
Right now.
Go. Just go sit outside. I'm done with you talking right now. Gentlemen, you're going to be next. One of you. It's going to be the tall one. I wonder why. Okay. Next one. Okay. Does this look like it is something that we would want to do substitution on? Is there any letter that's completely by itself? No. There's no letter that's like this that's just like a y equals or an x equals. So substitution is possible, but you'd have to do a lot of work. This is one that you would want to use what's called the elimination method. Okay? Chantel, you're going to go out if you cannot stop talking. Elimination method or addition method means you're going to add 2 equations together and you want something to cancel out. If I added everything together in these equations, what would happen? What do you think? What do you notice would happen with the y's?
The y would be itself.
The y wouldn't be by itself, but it would cancel out, right? That's what we want. So elimination method means add together your equations. They have to be, I'm waiting for all of your eyes to be looking up here. They have to be lined up. So it has to be x is lined up, y is lined up, and numbers lined up. So if you add these 2 together, what do you get? What's x plus 3x? 4x. What is negative y plus positive y? 0. So do I have to write that part down? No. Equals, what's 3 plus 1? 4. How do you think you solve for y, or for x? Divide. So divide by 4. If we divide by 4, we get x equals 1. Now, what do I need in order to have an answer? How many parts? 2 parts, an x and a y, yes. So if I have the x, how do you think I could find the y?
Plug it in.
Plug it back in. Again, does not matter which equation you plug into. Okay? Do you want to use the first one or the second one?
First one.
Why do you want to use the first one?
Because it has less.
Because it looks easier. That's fine. Okay? I would agree with you. So plug in x of 1, so 1 minus y equals 3. How would I get y by itself? Subtract the 1, so that's called using the additive inverse, so subtract 1. That gives you negative y equals 3 minus 1 is 2. What's attached to this y right now? A negative 1 technically, and how is it attached? By add, subtract, multiply, or divide? By multiplication. So how do you undo multiplication? Divide it, so divide both sides by negative 1. What's 2 divided by negative 1? Negative 2. So what is the solution to my systems of equations?
1, negative 2.
1 comma negative 2. Right. We want to write this in a point form. Okay, you're writing this as a point for an answer. Okay, we are writing these as a point for an answer. Do we have questions so far?
No.
No, we're all super happy, good?
First lesson we did.
Okay, but I'm talking about this one right now. Okay, let's try a couple more. We're on number 3. Listen, guys. Listen. Okay, how about if I asked you to solve, solve x minus y equals negative 4 and x plus 4y equals 26. X minus y equals negative 4 and x plus 4y equals 26. Any ideas? What do you think we should do here?
Get y by itself. Or no, get x by itself.
Okay, we don't have to get x by itself. I want to try to use the addition method here, the elimination method. If I add everything together, is something going to cancel out? Is there a letter that's going to cancel out?
No.
Well, let's look at this. If I add these together, I'd get 2x and 3y. Did something cancel out?
No.
No. What would we have to multiply by in order for something to cancel out?
Zero.
Not by 0.
Don't we supposed to line them up like we did on
They are lined up. The x's are lined up, and the y's are lined up, and the numbers are lined up.
Negative numbers.
-1.
You want one of them to be multiplied by a negative. Okay, let's multiply the first one by a negative.
Does it depend?
Does not matter. Okay, first thing, listen. I know you guys are having trouble focusing, but you need to pay attention. We first need to decide which letter do we want to cancel out. Here, I'm going to cancel out the x's because it's easier. Okay? To cancel out the x's, you'd have to have one be a positive, one be a negative. You could cancel out the y's, but what would you have to multiply the first equation by if you wanted to cancel out the y's? I have a negative x and I have a positive 4. Really, Mark? You'd have to multiply by 4. Then you'd have a negative 4 and a positive 4, and they would cancel. Okay? But I decided I want to cancel out the x's. So if you multiply everything on the top by negative 1. We multiply everything on the top by negative 1. Let's rewrite this. This would be negative 1x. What's negative 1 times negative y?
Y.
Plus 1y equals, what's negative 1 times negative 4?
4.
Positive 4. Now, since I got rid of that equation, I want to add these together. Add the whole equations together. So what's x minus 1x? 0. That's what you want. Okay, elimination method means you want something to cancel out. You want it to be eliminated. Add these together. What's 4y plus 1y? 5y equals, what's 26 and 4? 30. And then how do we get y by itself? Divide everything by 5. Right? So we get y equals 6. I'm not done. How can I solve for x? Plug it back in. You can plug into any of your beginning equations. Okay, I'm going to choose this one because it looks the easiest. So negative 1x plus 6 equals 4. How would you start to solve that? How would we get x by itself? Move the 6. So subtract the 6 from both sides. That would give you negative 1x equals, what's 4 minus 6? Negative 2. And how do I unattach that negative? Do I add, subtract, multiply, or divide?
Divide negative 1.
Divide it away by negative 1. So we get an x value of 2. Now, how should I answer the question, though? 2, 6. Make sure you put the x in the first spot, the y in the second spot. Okay, doesn't matter which one you found first. When you write a point, it has to be an x, y form. No, you're not done. Nice try, though. Okay, let's try one more for number 4. Okay, on number 4. If I tell you the sum of two numbers is 9. Okay, the sum of two numbers is 9. Their difference is 1. And I want you to find the two numbers. The sum of two numbers is 9. Their difference is 1. And I would like you to find the two numbers. So if I'm going to have two different things, what should I label them? What letters should I use? X and Y. Okay, so say we want to use X equals the first number, and Y is equal to the other number. What does the word sum mean?
Addition.
Sum means addition. So that means X plus Y equals what? X plus Y equals what? If their sum is equal to what? 9. What does the word difference mean? Minus. Their difference is 1. So how would you write an equation for that? X minus Y equals 1. I want to solve for the two different numbers. Does this look like it's set up to do the elimination method or the substitution method? Elimination method. If I added these together now, would something cancel out?
Yes.
Let's do it then. Okay? X plus X gives you what? 2X. Y minus Y gives you what? 0 equals what? 10. How do you get X by itself? Divide both sides by 2. So one of your numbers will be what? 5. So one of your numbers is 5. How do you find the other number? Plug it in. You can plug it into either of the equations. Doesn't matter. I'm going to use the first one. So 5 plus Y equals 9. How do you get Y by itself? Subtract the 5 from both sides. That leaves us with Y equals 4. So what does that tell you? The first number is 5. The other one is 4. That's it. That's all that means.
I kind of get it.
Good. I'm glad. Good. Okay, we're going to do one more word problem. Okay, and then I will let you be done. And you can work on some of our homework. Okay? What we're going to figure out here, this one, listen, okay, last one. My turn. Okay? Let's just say, let's say two families went out for dinner?
Can we say what's happening?
No, because that doesn't work for my equation. Thank you. 2 families went out to dinner. Okay? We're going to say the Coons, that's my name, okay? The Coons bought, yep, the raccoons, that's me. The Coons bought 4 chicken meals, chicken strip meals, we'll say chicken strip meals. 4 chicken strip meals and 3, what else should I buy?
3 fries for your dog.
Burger meals.
I said 3 fries.
Okay? So my family, we took a lot of people, obviously. Okay? It wasn't just my 1-year-old and my 3-year-old that eats all this. 4 chicken strip meals and 3 burger meals. Okay? Oh, I'm sorry. 4, and it cost me $57. Sheesh. It's a lot. We obviously did not go to McDonald's. Okay? 2 families went out for dinner. The Coons bought 4 chicken strip meals and 3 burger meals for $57. Do they have burgers at KFC?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. No.
Pork one.
Okay, let's say who's my other family? The Clarks.
Are not.
Sorry. Your teacher. The Clarks bought 2 chicken strip meals. 2 chicken strip meals. And 6 burger meals. That's a lot. And they spent for $60. I want you to figure out how much does each meal cost.
That's a shame if you spend more than $1 at Dollar Tree.
Okay, how much does each meal cost? So, guys, listen, this is our last one, so you do need to listen. Enough. So, 2 families went out for dinner. The Coons bought 4 chicken strip meals and 3 burger meals for $57. So, how would I write an equation saying 4 chicken strip meals and 3 burger meals cost $57? First off, what letters do we want to use?
C and D.
C for chicken and B for burgers?
Yeah.
Does that work? Okay. If you wanted to use X's and Y's, you could. You would just have to decide which one is X, which one is Y, and write it down. So, 4 chicken strip meals, so 4C plus what?
Plus B.
3B, 3 burgers, equals how much?
X.
57. Let's try the other one. The Clarks bought 2 chicken strip meals, so how would you write 2 chicken strip meals? 2C plus what? 6B equals 60. I want you to solve for both of these. So, this one is a little bit more difficult because that's a B, sorry. 6B. That's a handwriting thing. So, first thing you want to do. First thing you should do is start looking at me and stop talking. Yes, you. First decide which one you want to eliminate. So do we want to get rid of the C's or the B's? You just decide. The C's? Okay, so if I have a 4 and a 2, what can I multiply one of them by to get rid of the letters? Not 10. So 4, if I have a 4 and a 2, I want to make one of them positive and one of them negative.
Oh, -1.
I have a 4. How can I get this one to eliminate it? What would you have to multiply by? -2. Okay, if I have a 4 and I want to eliminate the 4, I need a -4. I need exactly opposite.
I thought you were supposed to add them like you did in the red.
We're going to, but if you added them together right now, would anything totally cancel out?
No.
No, so we want something to cancel. That's why this is called elimination method. So if I have a 4, to eliminate the 4, I need a -4. Can I multiply this whole equation to make this a negative 4, what would you multiply by? Negative 2. So we're going to multiply this whole thing by negative 2. First thing you have to do is let's rewrite this top equation. So 4c plus 3b equals 57. Then multiply everything in this whole equation by negative 2. So negative 4c, what's negative 2 times 6b?
12B.
Negative 12b equals, what's negative 2 times 60?
Negative 120.
Negative 120. Now we add them together. The c's will cancel, which is what you want. What is 9b minus 12b? Sorry.
Negative 9.
Negative 9b. Sorry, thank you. Equals, how do you do 57 minus 120? Remember, we actually have to put the top number, or the larger number on top and subtract. So that should give you 63, and is it going to be positive or negative? Negative. Okay, remember, same signs, add and keep. Different signs means you have to subtract them. So these are different signs, so you're actually subtracting them. Take the sign of the larger one. Then, how do you solve for b?
Divide by.
Divide by negative 9. Would it make any sense if we got negative answers here? No. So b equals what? Positive 7. So what does that tell me? What is b equals 7? What does that tell me? $7 for a burger meal. Now, how can I solve for the other variable? How can I solve for the other letter?
Plug it in.
Plug it into either one of these. I'm going to choose the bottom one. So 2C, 2 chicken meals, plus 6 times how much was a burger meal? $7 equals 60. $2C plus 42 will equal 60. How do you get C by itself? How do I solve for C? Subtract the 42. Sorry, I'm running out of room here. So that's I'm gonna move it over here. 2C equals, what's 60 minus 42? 18. And then how do I get C by itself? Divide by 2. So what do I get? That a chicken meal is equal to what? $9. So $9 each chicken meal. Maybe I should have said we went to the fair, because you know it's like really expensive when you go to the fair, or a baseball game or something like that. Okay, so you are going to have to listen. This is almost exactly like your test problem. Like a problem on your test next week. That's the level of difficulty you will need to deal with. Okay? You guys, for this, you do have a worksheet. It's going to be worksheet 9. I will give it to you, and you are doing the whole thing. There are 15 problems. Okay? Do we have any questions? Yes.